Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. Oh, man, what a week it's been, and we have a lot of ground to cover on this week's show, I think. We have a lot to get into. Plus, we have quite an amazing topic of the week this week. We have another in our Meet the Band series, and we'll get into that. First of all, let's get through our introductions, though, shall we? Well, if this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, then you are welcome. We are the show for the bagpiping folk. We reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the Great Highland Bagpipe and its people. And yeah, like every other podcast under the sun, we do have a Patreon. So if you do want to help support the show, you can do. Head over to Patreon, click on support, and you'll get your mitts on loads of extras. I mean, there's a lot over there, including our weekly Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show, which goes out live every Tuesday and then gets uploaded onto Patreon the next day. So there's been some confusion on that. Some people think that we broadcast on Patreon. No, we don't. I don't know where that come from, but yes, we do broadcast live on air on an FM radio station here in Northern Ireland called Fuse FM Ballymoney. You can put it into your search engine and you can find it. But yeah, every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, we are live on Fuse, and we got 2 hours of bagpipe and goodness. And then if you do happen to miss the show, then you can head over to Patreon and listen again. Now, there is years worth of previous radio shows that you can go back and enjoy thanks to Patreon support. So you can go over there and do that. All right. Now, where even to begin? Of course, we had the Mid-Ulster Championships take place this past weekend, and that was all sorts of entertaining. Plus, we have a lot of great piping to enjoy this upcoming weekend. We'll get into that. It's going to be quite a busy weekend. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about. So let's get through listener mail, first of all, shall we? Yeah, now our introductions are out of the road. Yeah, our email address has never changed from the beginning of the show, which is bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Let's get into some listener mail. Now, as you can imagine, after last week's show, we did get a wealth of listener mail. All right, most of it all talking about the UK Championships. As you could imagine, all right? Yes, serious amount of correspondence, all talking about the UK's and the reaction to the draw that had been published online and how some people were really surprised by it and some people not so much. That seems to be kind of the rule of thumb. Yeah, some people were like, I told you so, and some people were like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So if you've no idea what I'm talking about, you can go back and listen to last week's episode where we did talk about all of it in the news and updates. And, of course, we give our own thoughts and opinions on that too. And a lot of you did email us in and ask not to be mentioned on this week's show, but this was your opinion. Hi, that's fine. Also, I do believe we have some weekly drones on the shelf as well, so we'll get that on later on. We'll be talking more about the UK Championship draw reaction, I'm sure, as we get closer to weekly drone. But if you did manage to send in your own correspondence, it was received. Thank you, everyone. And, it will be fodder for a future episode. Obviously, when the UK Championships take place and we wrap everything up, then, we'll have a lot of thoughts and feelings all flying around. And I'm sure we'll get into it then for sure. Yeah. All right. So we do have other listener mail that we do want to get into. We got a very quick email here from Cameron. It says, hi, Big Rab and team. Hope you're all well. Yes, we are indeed, Cameron. Thank you very much. He goes on to say, he says, I have a question regarding the album from Bog Hall. Is it going to be released on Spotify or any other music streaming service? Now, that's a very good question. And we got a number of these actually last night when we were playing tracks from the album on Fuse. A lot of people wanting to know, can you check it out on the likes of Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon Music, all these different streaming services. So far, to date, I don't believe so. No. I think you can get a digital download from the band, or you can get a physical copy of the CD itself. But as for any kind of digital streaming, I don't believe so. No, that's my understanding, although that could be stuff that Rab got wrong. Oh, wait a minute, I can do this now.
Stuff that Rab got wrong.
Yeah, I forgot I have my sound effects machine with me now. So, yeah, that could be stuff that Rab got wrong, but my advice is to go along to Bog Hall's website, where they have been keeping everyone pretty much up to date on everything. There are people out there who have ordered even vinyl copies, an LP, for those of us old enough to remember what an LP is. Yeah, those are out there too. And, People's Ford have been doing, a lot of updates and stuff, keeping people updated on all the various perks and stuff. And, that's my advice. Go along to Bog Hall on their socials, and they will certainly keep across all of that detail. But as far as any streaming of the album goes, no, I don't believe so. Yeah. Anyway, we got another email here. This one's from Brendan. Hi, Big Rab. He said the IPBA, which is the Irish Pipe Band Association, will once again be organising a massed pipe band for the Fla in Wexford on Sunday, 3rd of August. Ooh. Yes, I remember the last one that was held, actually, and it was really successful. Looking forward to this. Yeah, he said last year's mass band was a huge success and would like to expand it this year if possible. Tunes and sound files and all of that information is available on the ipba.ie website. Yeah, so whenever you click on the link, it does provide you with more information, including a tune list and everything. And, recordings where you can even, practice along with. Now, this is something I haven't seen before. Whenever you form a mass band, they actually give you the sound files. So that's interesting. The entire parade will be led by Senior Drum Major Lewis Anderson, of course, from the Rossin District Pipe Band, and they're expecting a big turnout for this. So, if you are anyways curious and would like to head down to that, the Fla in Wexford is quite a big event. 3rd of August. There you go. Why not be part of the Mass Pipes and Drums? And, that's shaping up to be quite a big event there. There you go. So, shout out to IPBA, and thank you so much for emailing that in, Brendan. Cheers. And, if anyone, want to go to that, then, and have any questions, then please do email us in. bigrabshow@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to keep you right. All right. We got another email here. This one's from Jim. It says, "Hi, Big Rab. And in this week's show, you mentioned that ticket prices for the Worlds are really high." Oh, boy. Oh, Jim, we're about to get in. All right, we're about to get into it. Yes, I did mention it. And we spoke about the general admission tickets for spectators. And, all right, are you going to, you're going to rip me a new one here? All right, let's read the rest. This is, being stateside, I've never paid for tickets to the Worlds, but the prices are lower than many games here. Really? Wow, that's impressive. Okay. Now, either the games in the States are really expensive, or maybe they have been pitched at the right level. Yeah. Moving on. Jim goes on to say, I just looked at the ticket prices for Pleasanton games coming up at the end of August, and a one-day ticket is $40. And he goes, he says about 30 quid UK. So comparable to a day of pricing for the World. So, yeah, he's right. He said, but a 2-day ticket for Pleasanton is $67. So that's about 50-odd quid. Yeah. So I guess they are comparable. Jim, I think you're onto something. Yeah, perhaps they're just not as expensive as I believe. Maybe they are just on a par with other events that are being held globally. That's a good shout. He goes on to say there's no discount for buying in advance for Pleasanton, and that's just the entry prices. I haven't even got the other more expensive packages available for food and for drinks. Yeah, that's one of the things that Pleasanton and other events in the States have over events here in the UK. We don't factor in catering. Yeah, so we don't have like another ticket where you can have all of your drinks and food included. But I'm sure people here would be open to that. Yeah, I don't know. That could be stuff that Rab got wrong again, but you can email me on your thoughts on that one. But that's interesting. He goes on to say, I wish I could say that these prices are an anomaly, but I'm pretty sure that's the going rate for most games, at least out here in California. Hopefully the prices there won't start to match prices here. And that come from Jim. Jim, thanks a million, mate. Yes, I think yeah, that's a fair point to make. I think they are definitely comparable whenever it comes to other huge music festivals, for that matter. Not even a pipe band competition, but a festival, like a weekend festival. I think, yeah, they're on a par. So as much as I complained last week about ticket prices possibly being too high, yeah, I'll certainly eat humble pie with that one, Jim. Thank you for pointing that out, and I do believe you're correct. Absolutely. All right, we've got another one here. Another email. This one coming from JD. JD, you legend. What about you, man? So JD's emailing in, sorry. This is a text. He's not texting in. Yeah, I think I'm still at Fuse. Anyway, move on. JD says, the 5th annual Joseph McDonald Memorial Prize for Pembroke, hosted by the Robert Burns Society of Charleston in conjunction with the Clan Donald Islands Trust and the Poloco Spoletro Arts Festival, was held on Friday, June 6th, 2025 at Society Hall in historic Charleston, South Carolina. Whew. Yeah, this is the event with the incredibly long title. I remember seeing this. And yeah, shout out to JD. Thank you for emailing us about this. And yeah, it did take place. And yeah, I've heard some of the performances from this. And oh, man, it was good. Yeah, so JD goes on to say, so competitors on the day were Nick Hudson of Texas, of course. We had Finlay Johnson of Scotland. We had Angus J. McCall of Scotland. And we had Alistair Murray, of course, of Pennsylvania, previously of Northern Ireland, of course. So the judge on the day was Major Bruce Hitchings, MBE-BEM. There you are. He goes on to say, he says, all competitors had excellent performances showcasing technical and expressive Kilmore, and the winner on the day was Angus McCall. Woo! Go on, Angus. Good stuff. So he managed to earn $3,000, $3,000 in prize money for his trouble. Wow. In addition, all other competitors earned $2,000 just for playing. Wow. That's not bad. So, yeah, shout out to everybody involved there and to JD for sending that in to us, mate. Thank you. That was fantastic. But, hey, absolutely brilliant. Well done to everyone, and we have heard the runs from it. So go and check those out. They have been shared across on our socials as well. But, yeah, the event title is so long. I don't even know how you could shorten that by any means. The 5th annual Joseph McDonald Memorial Prize for Pembroke, hosted by the Robert Burns Society in Charleston in conjunction with the Clan Donald Islands Trust and the Poloco Spoletro Arts Festival. Yeah. Wow. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much, JD, for your email. Let's move on. So, yeah, we got an email, a very short one, but quite a juicy one. And we're going to get into it in this week's news and updates. Yeah, Jim Sim emailed us in. Hi, Big Rab. Hope you're well. Yes, I am, Jim. Thank you very much. Jim, of course, is the president of the Midwest Pipe Band Association, who I'm sure is going to be incredibly busy this weekend. Yeah, so just wanted to let you know, here is the order of play for the bands on the solos for this weekend's competition, the Chicago Highland Games. Oh, yeah. All right, and we'll get into that in the news and updates. So, Jim, thank you. Yes, I was aware that this weekend is Chicago, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be good. Yeah, we'll get into that in the news and updates. But yeah, this weekend, Chicago Highland Games, is going to be a cracker. Oh, it's going to be so good. All right, let's move on. Of course, after listener mail, we do delve into one of our favorite ones, which is Weekly Drum. But I do want to remind you, if you do want to send in your own listener mail, you can do. bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yeah, that address again. bigrabshow@gmail.com. If there's anything you want to plug, promote, or anything like that, then of course you can. Yeah. All right. Let's get into Weekly Drone. Good and proper. Now, JD, I believe there's a few on the shelves. But, yeah, kick us off with one then, shall we?
It's the Weekly Drone.
12 July. Well, well, well. The draw is out, and only 3 Grade 1 bands will fight it out for the top prize in Edinburgh. Where is the incentive in that? It's like a Mickey Mouse operation, and it's just your Donald Duck. How many bands will show up? The goofy organizers really need to take a good look at this for 2026. and make sure that we have 5 majors confirmed and dates and venues published well in advance to allow bands to plan travel. Otherwise, our majors will turn into minis, and we might as well be going to Pluto. And as for the Daffy Ducks, who say that there's no money out there, they must be living in Disneyland.
Okay. I think there was a lot of references there of a Disney variety. I'm not sure what the droner was getting at there, but yeah, commentary on the UK Championship, disappointment. All right, now we mentioned this last week that it is a disappointment no matter what way you cut the onion. You're still only really getting 3 Grade 1 big guns in there duking it out for that UK title. And we spoke about this last week. Now, yeah, your thoughts and opinions there, and I would argue that they're shared sort of far and wide, and there are some valid questions to ask. However, the way we concluded our thoughts last week when we were talking about the UK Championship draw was, at least we have a championship, you know, because what is the alternative? That the event just didn't run. Reading social media commentary and all of the talk that's happened since the draw went live, that's kind of the thinking here, that there was no alternative. There was no other dates, no other venues came forward to host it. So in reality, it was either host this event as it stands or not host it at all. Yeah, and there has already been a major championship that has fallen to a similar fate. Yeah, so, we'll not get over that one again. But, I, for one, I'm happy that the event is happening. All right, we said that last week. But am I still disappointed that there is only real 3 Grade 1 big guns in there? Yes, absolutely. It's one of the big draws of any major championship. We get to see some of our top flight bands, duke it out. But we're not going to get that opportunity now with the UK's. But at least it's still happening. Yeah, so I'm going to pose that to you, Weekly Droner. And all of your Disney puns and all of that sort of stuff, yeah, okay. I don't get it. I'm not a huge Disney fan, but okay. I'm glad you had your fun there. There you go. All right, moving on. JD, have we got another Weekly Drone this week, have we?
It's the Weekly Drone.
Pipe bands on TV. Speaking of pipe bands on TV shows, the Morrison Academy Pipe Band made an appearance in the first episode of Long Way Home on Apple TV. Long Way Home is Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman's motorbike adventure show. And as they were setting off from McGregor's Scottish home, his old school band showed up to play them off. McGregor even joined them for a set on the snare drum.
I did spot this. There was a little clip of it on YouTube, actually, and I did spot it. And to be fair, I had no idea at all that Ewan McGregor was a snare drummer. Had never, I don't know. As a Star Wars fan, obviously, Ewan McGregor, to me, is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I would never think that Obi-Wan Kenobi can play a pipe band snare drum. But now, I can't watch Star Wars now without thinking, oh, he can play a real good 3/4, you know. Is it just me? But for those of you who haven't seen that clip from that TV show, yes, go along and check it out. It's a very cool moment, by the way. Yeah, where the band sort of meet him and everything, and he gets pretty shocked by it all and pretty emotional about the whole thing. Because obviously it had been a long time since he'd played a pipe band snare drum. But he managed to strap a drum on and have a bit of crack with the band. And it seemed to be, it was like riding a bike. He was no slouch. Yeah, he was able to get through a good road score anyway. And managed to mix in well with the rest of the core. Do we think that Obi-Wan Kenobi will be at a future World Championship? Who knows? But, yeah, very cool moment, for sure. Yeah, so thank you, Weekly Droner, for that. Yes, we are aware of other pipe bands out there who do, like, little TV cameos and stuff. Now, I do know we talked about the North Charleston Pipe Band and all of that. And, JD's involvement with that whole story, that was fantastic to hear. And, if your pipe band has been on the telly as well for any such wee moments like that, then please do let us know. We'd love to hear that. When piping and drumming is represented in the media in a very positive way like that, then absolutely get in touch with us. We'd love to hear your story. Indeed. Thank you, Weekly Droner. All right, JD, I think we have one more before we get on to all the news and updates. So, go on. Let us have it. What's this week's Weekly Drone?
It's the Weekly Drone.
RSPBA X account. Rab, have the RSPBA deleted their X account, formerly known as Twitter? It seems to take an eternity to get the draws and summaries for the contests, and even when they are published, they are littered with spelling mistakes. It's not difficult.
Weekly Droner, you asked two questions there, really. One about the accuracy and timelessly of posting things, I guess, results and draws and things like that. That's one element, but you did ask about the X account or the Twitter account. Now, I was an avid follower of the RSPBA on Twitter, and for years, I think it was one of their best outlets, to be honest. They really did keep it up to date, especially on the day of a competition, where I remember specifically at one World Championships, I actually got the results of the qualifying on Twitter ahead of when they were actually published on the whiteboards at the big spiky thing. Yeah, so their Twitter account over the years had been absolutely amazing. And yeah, you're quite right. I did have a bit of a search online, and I can no longer find them on Twitter or X for that matter. And there has been no communication about this. There doesn't seem to have been an announcement anywhere to say that we have deleted our account on Twitter and see you all later. Is this a conspiracy? Don't know. Is it a bit of a shock? Absolutely. For fans of them that's been following them on Twitter for a long time, yeah, it's just disappeared. Now, there's many's a branch out there of the Royal Scottish Pipe Band Association, tons of branches who do have their own Twitter accounts, and a lot of them aren't really maintained. They're not really kept up to date and aren't really utilized. I think most social media engagement from association branches, yeah, that does take place mostly on Facebook. Although there have been others. I think the Northern Ireland branch, they have an Instagram, which they're quite active on. They also have a Snapchat as well for you Snapchatters. Also have a TikTok, I think. That could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But yeah, there are various branches that have been delving into the world of socials. But as far as Twitter is concerned, yeah, I think that is now no longer the case for headquarters. So, honestly, I think it's a huge miss. And thank you for pointing that out, Weekly Droner. I was not aware that it was gone. So, yeah, now there is the parody account, RSPBA Headquarters, that I'm sure everyone by now is probably already aware of, which is a bit of a parody account of the official headquarters account. Well, at least what it used to be. So the parody account still exists, but the actual account no longer exists. As to what the reason is behind that, absolutely no idea. As I say, there's been no communication around it at all. So, yeah, thank you, Weekly Droner, for pointing that out. We were completely oblivious to it. Well, now it's been drawn to our attention, it does raise some valuable questions, doesn't it? Yeah. Why was it deleted? And also, what are their plans for the future? Do they plan on cutting all ties with social media altogether? Possibly withdrawing from even their Facebook account? Or perhaps will they be expanding now? Will they be withdrawing to hopefully have another huge launch in the future? Who knows? But I, for one, thought it was a really useful tool, to be able to give you updates throughout the day. I do remember updates from the likes of World Championships and stuff where they were able to tweet out during the day and say, hey, see the portaloos round there by the drum majors? They're closed for cleaning. If you need an alternative, go over here, they were directing people to different things throughout the day. Yeah, so it's a shame to see it go. But yeah, thank you for that, Weekly Droner. Much appreciated. And if you do want to send in your own Weekly Drone, of course you can do. Yeah, just go to our website, thebigrabshow.com. There's a big button at the top of the page that says Weekly Drum. You can fill it in, let us know all the details, of course, warts and all, and you don't have to put in any identifying factors either. It can be completely anonymous, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah. All right, so that's it for Weekly Drone and all that good stuff. The show has started good and proper. Yeah, so let's get into this week's news and updates. I'll be right back after this.
Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial. Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk.
All right, where to begin with this week's news and updates? Well, of course, I have to start with the Mid-Ulster Championships, don't I? Yeah, they all happened this past weekend, June 7th in Cookstown High School, and yeah, the competition at this was fierce. Now, before we get into all the bands and the music and stuff, let's talk about, the venue, the weather, all that kind of stuff. Because, yeah, it was kind of all seasons in one day. It was like raining one second, then you were sunburned the next. It's kind of crazy that way weather-wise, so it was difficult to get sound set and everything. As for the venue itself, it was in a different part of Cookstown High School, in a completely different venue, way up on the height, as I said last night on Fuse, and it seemed to work really well. Now, the parking and all of that, tons of it, of course. The shuttle bus service, yeah, I know people aren't fans of shuttle bus, so I did manage to see loads of people who just decided to walk, and they did. But, yeah, it wasn't even that far, I guess. About 5 minutes took you up there, and, yeah, it seemed to work very well. The atmosphere, obviously, was electric, and I don't undersell that. Yeah, Cookstown's a great venue for keeping people together in one spot, and, it wasn't too well spread out, so everyone got lost, but no, it was really well done, I think. So, yeah, full credit to the Mid-Ulster branch. Yeah, he'd done a real stellar job. I think the only complaint I got on the day was the Portaloo situation, where there were some considerable queues at certain periods during the day. So, I don't know if that's something they can look at for the future ones, but honestly, I think that's a small gripe. I think, the event itself, absolutely brilliant, and, really well ran. Yeah, well done. So, other than that, let's get into the music, shall we? Well, let's start with their drum majors, though. Yeah, I want to start there because they really did draw quite a huge crowd. I don't know if you've seen this, if you were there in Cookstown this past weekend. The crowd at the Drum Major Arena was massive. Yeah, it seemed to be a lot of real fierce competition in there in our drum major arena. So let's go through our prizes, shall we? Yeah, who picked up what? Starting with our novice grade then, our champion on the day is Charlotte Adamson from the Major Sinclair Memorial. Well done, Charlotte. In second place was Holly Gracie. Third was Heidi Poots. And in fourth place was Amelia Higgins. Yes, and that was our novice grade. And on to our juniors then. Our winner on the day and Mid-Ulster champion was Georgia Turkington. Yes, well done, Georgia. Of course, from the Matt Boyd Memorial. Our runner-up then in second place was Maya Lily Fraser. In third was Harry Couples. And fourth was Lydia Todd. There you are. Moving on to juvenile grade then. Winner on the day and Mid-Ulster champion is Jamie Lee Wilson of Breedy Ulster Scots, picking up the top spot in M&D preference. Yeah. In second place was Carries Graham. In third was Louise Smighton. And in fourth place was Debbie Gilmore. There you are. So moving on to our adults then. Winner on the day and Mid-Ulster champion was Charlotte Ruddock from Battle Hill. Also from Battle Hill, and our runner-up was Catherine McKeown. So if you want, it was kind of a Battle Hill 1-2 for drum majors. In third place on M&D preference was Emma Barr, and in fourth place was Jamie Couples. There you are. So, yeah, I don't know, full credit to the drum major, and by the way, as I've said, they did draw a huge audience over there, and yeah, the competition did seem to be fierce, so well done to everyone involved over there, and from anyone I was talking to who were over watching the drum majors, they thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, the standards were really high. Well done, everyone. All right, let's move on to the bands then, starting with Grade 4B. Our Mid-Ulster champion, yeah, for Grade 4B is Carrigaline. Now, did I pronounce that correctly or not? I don't know. You can let me know if it's stuff that Rab got wrong, or did I actually get it right? I don't know. Miracles do happen. But Carrigaline picking up the top spot there and Mid-Ulster champion in Grade 4B. In second place was Breedy Ulster Scots. Third place was my own band, Tully Lagan. Yo! And in fourth place was Down Academy. There you are. And yeah, splitting the piping result were Tully Lagan and Carrigaline, and the drumming on the day went to Down Academy. Yeah. So a very competitive grade there in Grade 4B. Yeah. And just to answer some questions, was I playing with Tully Lagan this weekend in Cookstown? The answer is no, I wasn't. Yeah. Again, I dropped myself. I'm just not ready to hit that circle yet. But, you know, with some further practice, I do hope to be out with the band this incoming season. But as you can see, Tully Lagan are doing quite well at the moment in the prizes there. But yeah, shout out to Carrigaline. If you haven't heard the run from them yet, wow. Just, yeah. Trust me, you're going to want to watch it. And also shout out to Breedy Ulster Scots as well. I'm a huge fan of their drumming, actually. Yeah, that what they're doing drumming-wise really seems to click with the piping, and it's just very enjoyable. Just a very competitive grade overall, honestly. So if you haven't checked it out yet, our videos from Grade 4B are up there on our YouTube channel. And we didn't manage to catch everyone, but we have shared out those performances where we've caught them. Well done. Also, I have to give a special mention to the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band, who did field actually quite a huge band. Yeah, the band seemed to be growing. Now, each time they field for a competition, the band seems to be getting larger. So, yeah, quite a number in the ranks there at Queen Elizabeth. So it was brilliant to see. Well done, everyone there. That was quite a fun grade there. All right, moving on to Grade 4A. Winners on the day and Mid-Ulster champions, Money Gore. Yes, 2 firsts in piping and a first in ensemble. Not a bad result, yes. In second place was Cottown, and they were in second on ensemble preference. In third place was Black Raven, and they were third on ensemble preference. And also in fourth place then was Raffo Ulster Scots. And again, they were fourth on ensemble preference. They also picked up the drumming on the day, and it was brilliant to see Raffo Ulster Scots in the circle thumping out some tunes. And yeah, I did particularly enjoy their drumming. Very enjoyable stuff. So, yeah, shout out to Money Gore. He really did have a great run. And again, all of those videos are up there now on our YouTube channel. Go check them out. If anything, outside the circle, I did get to see a good number of these bands tuning up in the park. And, yeah, Black Raven certainly did impress with a big tone. Yeah, really impressive stuff. So, yeah, shout out to all of these bands in Grade 4A. Very enjoyable stuff. A very competitive grade. But yeah, moving on to even more competitiveness, I guess, in Grade 3B. Our winners on the day, Drumloch. Yes, Mid-Ulster champions. Well done, Drumlock. And they also picked up the drumming as well. Yeah, well done, Drumlock. In second place were Surla and District. Third was Ballybowly. And in fourth place was Upper Crossgar. Yeah, you are. So again, Drumlock, definitely a convincing win and a very enjoyable run for sure. Go and check that out. All right, moving on. Grade 3A then. Now, this was a huge grade, to be fair. Yeah, 12 bands in total, and it took a bit to get through. Yeah, it was quite a long stand for this one, but every performance from 3A is up there now on our YouTube channel again. Shameless plug, I know, but go and check it out. Winners on the day and Mid-Ulster champions were the Matt Boyd Memorial. Yes, now, this was our first time seeing Matt Boyd Memorial in the competition circle this year, and boy, did they hit the ground running. Wow. Yeah, I was chatting to Gary Smith briefly before the competition started, and he said he was looking forward to it, you know, and I can see why. The band were certainly sounding strong. So, yeah, shout out to Matt Boyd. Good stuff. Because they also picked up the drumming prize as well. All right, and the second place then was the Major Sinclair Memorial. Yes, also had a great run. They had 2 firsts in piping. They lifted the piping overall that day. Yeah, in third place then was Kildogue. Again, I'm really enjoying Kildogue at the moment. Again, blowing a big tone. Great stuff. In fourth place then was Clocker in District. Yes. So there you go, folks. I don't know. Grade 3A is such a tough grade at the moment. Yeah, and there's a lot of bands in there that are finding form right now, that are knocking on the door potentially of grade 2. So, yeah, a lot of good music to enjoy there. So, yeah, but shout out to our Mid-Ulster champions, the Matt Boyd Memorial. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, I reckon. Yeah. All right. Moving on to grade 2, which drew quite a huge audience on the day. It was their arena was packed, actually. Yeah, winners on the day were Tullylagan. Yes, I believe this was the first we've seen the Tullylagan Grade 2 band in the circle competitively this year. And, yeah, quite a convincing win with a 2-2 in piping, but a first in drumming and a first in ensemble. And that was enough to pull them into that top spot. In second place then was Manor Cunningham, who lifted the piping on the day. Yeah, with a 1-1 in piping. Yeah. And in third place was the Major Sinclair Memorial from 3A, who decided to play up. And in fourth place was Clocker in District. Yeah, who also played up there. There you go. So grade 2, very competitive. And, yeah, that medley performance from both Tullylagan and Manor Cunningham as well. I don't have words for the standard in grade 2 now. It's kind of ridiculous. And is it going to live up to that ridiculous grade title again? Yeah, I reckon it possibly is. Yeah. So are we going to call grade 2 the ridiculous grade this year? Yeah, we are. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and have a watch at the videos and draw your own conclusions. But the standard here was something else. Then, of course, on the day, we were treated to a grade 1 competition where we had 2 grade 1 big guns duking it out, thumping out some MSRs. Now, winners on the day were Closs Celt. Wow, what a run. And this is my first time seeing Closs Celt in person in circle. And wow is all I'll say. Yeah, that huge Chesney sound. Wow. I don't have other words for it other than that sound effect, you know. But also, Ravara Pipe Band did not disappoint also. New in that grade 1 circle, of course, but yeah, they also picked up the drumming that day. And yeah, shout out to Matthew Shaw and the folks there at Ravara who were, yeah, really putting the work in. Really enjoyable. So both of those performances are up there now. You can go and have a watch at them and, yeah, draw your own conclusions. But, yeah, Closs Celt, man. Wow. Yeah, it was one of those kind of performances where you kind of needed to sit down afterwards, you know? All right, okay, right, let me take it in, you know? It was just insane. But, yeah, well done. And I cannot wait for the rest of the season to unfold now as we get to see these bands more in the circle. Listening to Ravara and Closs Celt in person has been an absolute pleasure over this past couple of weeks. And, yeah, very keen to see where they're going to shake up whenever, yeah, they get in the mix with everybody else at majors. It's going to be a very interesting year for sure. Well, folks, as I've been plugging throughout, you know, our review of the results and everything, all of what we've managed to capture from the Mid-Ulster Championships are up there now on our YouTube channel. Just go and check it out. The Big Rab Show over there on YouTube. Tons of great music to enjoy there from the Mid-Ulsters, indeed. Now, of course, this weekend is the Lisburn and Castlereagh Pipe Band Championship. That's going to be all sorts of amazing as we all head to Moira this weekend. I can't wait for this. Now, is there going to be a Grade 1 competition? Is always the question I get asked, and I got asked it last night on Fuse. Yes, there will be some Grade 1 action where Uravara will be stepping into the circle for a bit of a run. But, yeah, I don't think anyone else is challenging them on Grade 1 there. Yeah, you are. So, yes, this weekend in Moira, shaping up to be quite a huge competition with 8 bands in Grade 2. There's 12 in 3A. Quite big there. Yeah, in 3B there's 6, 4A there's 9, 4B there is 10 bands altogether. So, yeah, quite a huge competition by all accounts, and all the action starts at 11 a.m. If you do want to see more information, including all of your details about parking and everything, I'm really loving what the branch is doing right now. With the information they're publishing about upcoming events, they really do cover every eventuality. Like, everything. There's nothing left to doubt. If you're bringing a coach, where do you park it? If I bring a car, where do I park it? Can I bring my dog? Can I bring a barbecue? Am I allowed to bring water into the venue? What about first aid? All that kind of stuff. Everything has been covered here. So, yeah, my advice, rspbani.org for all your information for this upcoming weekend's competition in Moira. Looking forward to it. And yes, will I be competing on it? I don't know. I just have to wait and see. All right. Now, same as last week's pod and last week's radio show, again, it's not my decision. It's up on the Pipe Major as to whether I step on that circle or not. But I hope so. I hope so. But either way, I'll be there anyway with the camera to capture everything, as always. All right. Now, off the back of the email that we received. Now, not only are we going to be competing in Moira, but we're also going to be competing in the Chicago Scottish Festival and Highland Games. Yo! Ah, where's my sound effect? Yay! There we go. I keep forgetting I have this sound effect machine now. But yeah, this weekend, the Chicago Highland Games, this is going to be blistering, folks. Now, not only am I excited for Moira, yes, absolutely, but this is where it's at. This weekend in Chicago is going to be insane. Let's run through the draw then, shall we, quickly? Starting with Grade 5. There's 12 bands in here in total. Yeah, now kicking things off at 10 a.m. in the morning, we have the Flint Scottish Pipe Band, followed by the City of Rockford Pipe Band. The 87th Cleveland Pipe Band will be there. We have the Celtic Cross Pipes and Drums. The Firefighters Highland Guard of Naperville is next. That's quite a title. The next band is the James Enright Senior Memorial Pipe Band. There you go. Then we have the Omaha Pipes and Drums, the McAllister College. Yes, the Grand Traverse. Yep, Pipes and Drums. I could probably pronounce that wrong. Apologies. We have the Chicago Highlanders Pipes and Drums, the Nashville Pipes and Drums, and the Chicago Stockyard Kilty Band. And that's your Grade 5. Yeah, so quite a big grade there by all accounts. Quite a few familiar names too. Yeah. All right, moving on. Grade 4, then, we have the Caledonia Kilty Pipe Band, followed by the Chicago Stockyard Kilty Band. Then we have the Capital City Pipes and Drums, followed by the Kansas City St. Andrews Pipes and Drums. The Bergen Irish Pipe Band. I haven't heard that name before, but I'm curious to learn more. We also have the Loch Norman Pipe Band, the Dundee Scottish Pipe Band, the 87th Cleveland Pipe Band, Queen City Pipes and Drums, Madison Pipes and Drums, Silver Thistle Pipes and Drums, and the Siren City. Yes. So again, another big grade of 12 bands there in Grade 4. It's huge. All right. So good luck to everyone in Grade 5 and Grade 4. Whew, I think you have your work cut out to come out anywhere near that top 5 for you. Yeah, good luck. All right, moving on to Grade 3 then. The MSR competition, the draw is as follows. We have the Turlock Pipe Band, followed by the City of Chicago. We have Waken District, Chicago Celtic Pipe Band. Yeah, McAllister College. Then we have Kevin R. Blanford's Carnegie Mellon University, City of Angels, and the Westminster Pipe Band. There you go. And I think it's kind of, is it the same order of play then for the medley? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, although that could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But 9 bands in total in Grade 3. Yeah, there you go. That's a lot of music to get played there. So good luck, everyone. Moving on to grade 2 on the day, we've 5 in here. We have the Macmillan Pipe Band, followed by Midlothian Scottish. Yes, we have Greater Midwest. Then we have the Ulster Scottish and the Great Lakes Pipe Band. There you go. And that's your grade 2. And, the same order of play for your medley competition as well. So, yeah, any one of those 5, I would argue, any one of them could absolutely pick up that top spot. So, yeah, good luck, everyone, there. All right, moving on to grade 1. Yes, we do have a grade 1 competition where we have St. Thomas Alumni Pipe Band. So we're kind of doing a bit of a showcase kind of deal where they're running into the circle, playing an MSR, and they're also coming back later on the day to play their medley. There you are. So there is also a drum major competition as well, but I don't have those details to hand. But yeah, shout out to everyone that's entered this weekend for the Chicago Highland Games. Very exciting stuff. And of course, to answer all of your questions, yeah, we spoke earlier. The Rab Show team will be at Moira, of course, for the Lisburn and Castlereagh Championship, so we'll be filming there, and we will be live with the results as well from that too. From the Chicago Highland Games, we also have team members that are going to be there on the ground also, and they're going to be hopefully filming performances for our YouTube channel. As for any lives as concerns, not sure that we'll be able to get that done, but we'll do what we can. But yeah, keep across all of the Big Rab shows on socials everywhere, and we'll do our best to keep you across the details as they happen. So yeah, if you do want to catch the action this weekend from Moira, you know where to go. And also, if you want to catch the action from Chicago, you also know where to go. We're going to do our best to cover both of these events, if at all possible. Yeah. So there you are. Rab Show team's going to be incredibly busy this weekend, by all accounts. Okay, well, with that all being said, I think I'm going to have to draw a line under the news and updates at this point. Yeah. Now, there's plenty that we haven't spoke about, of course, but as always, you can email us in if there is anything that we have neglected to mention that is glaringly obvious. Yeah, email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And yeah, we'll do our best to catch up on next week's show. But for now, of course, it's time for me to go and get myself a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs. Right, folks, I want to tell you about a brilliant new app called MusoLink. It's from Matt Fraser, yeah, the same guy behind the B-flat tuner. And it's all about helping you track your music practice smarter. You can record your sessions using AI, add notes, get reports, and keep yourself accountable. But what really makes it stand out is the social side. It's like Strava for pipers. You can follow your mates, give them kudos, leave comments, and stay motivated together. Loads of bands are already on board, including Scots College, Hawthorne, and loads of others who are making big moves. So, if you're prepping for this year's World Championships or just want to get better, search for MusoLink on the App Store now. And once you're there, why not give the Big Rab Show a follow and we can push each other over the line.
Hi, this is Anna Smart, and you're listening to The Big Rab Show.
So, yeah, the title of this week's episode kind of gives it away. This week, we are meeting St. Joseph's. Or, I have to say, right, this is a question I have for you, actually. Is the full title of the band St. Joseph's Clondalkin? Is that right?
It's just St. Joseph's Pipe Band.
There you go.
Yeah, and we're based in the village of Clondalkin, which is on the outskirts of Dublin. So,
right.
it's in programs for contests. It's just become St. Joseph's Clondalkin, but yeah.
There you are. There's been a bit of a head scratcher on that one. I've had emails saying, "No, Rob, you're not giving them their full title." But for me, you've always been St. Joseph's, and I've missed out the Clondalkin bit. Hey, there we go.
It went through a phase of just being called Clondalkin Pipe Band as well.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, so but officially it's just St. Joseph's Pipe Band.
There you go. Yeah. Well, for folks not realising who I'm talking to right now, would you like to introduce yourselves first of all? Start with yourself there, Tim.
Yeah, well, I've the unfortunate position of being the pipe major. So I've been with the band since I was probably 14 years of age, and joined the band in the early 80s, at the same time as actually Stephen Creighton.
Right.
Jim Quirk would have been already a member of the band at that point. So, there's been a long and windy road since then. So that's it goes back quite a bit.
There you go, yeah. You have a bit of a tenure then with the band, Tim. Yeah.
Yeah, look, we were off the road for a while too, but we had a purple patch in the late 80s, early 90s, where we went from being a grade 3 band in 1989 to being a grade 1 band in 1992. But sadly, that kind of turned out to be the downfall, really, of the band, because firstly, we weren't really ready for it, and we just didn't have the player pool to support another grade 1 band in the south. So we ended up eventually amalgamating with St. Lawrence O'Toole, and I spent probably 15 years on and off with St. Lawrence O'Toole. And fast forward to today, we were lucky to be able to revive the band. Philip Duffy and a group came back to the band in 2016 and got it back on the road. And
the rest is history then, Tim.
Yeah. It's great. I think Andrew Berthoff wrote a piece about the band where he said it was unusual for a band to come back out of the ashes after so long. So so we're enjoying it again, and we're having some fun again, which is great.
That's it, and producing some amazing music as well. We'll get into that Tim, as well. So, but Jim Quirk is joining us. So, Jim, are you right? And you've been with the band now for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, mid-70s I joined. It could have been 75. I joined the drum corps, actually. Kieran Morden was there at the time. But drumming wasn't for me, so I went on to the pipe, and then Terry took me. I could have been 10 or 11, and I've been at it ever since.
They do say that all good pipers start out as drummers, isn't that right? Yeah.
I don't know about that. But look, it was community driven as such. The band was fairly competitive in the 70s, and then a few things happened. Kieran left. Kieran had been there, I think, for 15 years that time. Shannon's uncle was in the band. He died. And Terry had 6 or 7 pipers down there in the first night. So when the band went off the road for a year or so then, the transition of us coming in wasn't as bad. I think we played our first contest back. I think we went off the road in 79, came back in 80. We played in Carlingford in a contest. Then Martin Gallagher, Jim that tunes the drums for, he was the lead tip. And then it progressed from there, and we were, we were an average grade 3 band. And of course, when Terry was very much involved with the teaching aspect, and he came in around that time, it was myself, Shannon's father, a few local lads, Paul Croak, Eamon Croak, so we had a body of players there, and we had Stephen came in around that time as well, and the drum corps was getting serious, so say from, I think it was, I played about O'Toole's 87, and then I came back, the band, Clondalkin went off to go in 85, 86, I played O'Toole's 87, Tim played as well, and we got back together in 88, and as Tim said, it was just 5 years, just pure bliss, competitions against Refair, and amongst them Mosley and Georgie McFetridge with the Nips, and some serious competition at that time, with Sam, and of course I don't think that we overachieved. I think we had boy bands with 8 or 10 points was very accepted at that point, you know.
Yeah.
And Terry was Timmy was point major, and like, you know, Terry had his hands all over us as much as say, you know, and Martin Galler and Stephen, and so as like we had 5 hard years with bliss, and then as Timmy said, we got to grade 1, and the wheels came off just that little bit, you know. So then we went to the amalgamation '99. I done 18 years unbroken with O'Toole's, very enjoyable years, I have to say, you know. Won a few things on the way, and played against some amazing bands. And like, sometimes you just have to pinch yourself that, like, from a small village band, like, we got into the mix. Like these, you just imagine back in the 80s or 70s, this is the Shots and Deister and Dundonald.
Yeah,
and only dream about even, like, you know, share the same field as them boys, you know, and that happens, you know, and like it was nothing to be sneered at, but it was hard work. It was hard work. We enjoyed it.
That's it too. And a bit of crack along the way too, Jim. I dare say some stories I think we probably couldn't broadcast here on the pod, but yeah, some adventures, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, we had some great characters. Like Jerry Maddy comes to mind. Jerry, Stephen has mentioned Jerry. Like, Jerry was a unique talent, you know, and like him, Martin and Stephen, like they were just so tight, you know. And Jerry would always complain that I mightn't be able to make it, I mightn't be able to be there. But Jerry was always first there. No one of these lads, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
It was great characters.
So I have to ask then about the band itself. How did it all begin? Do we know how the band was established? Tim, I'll throw that question to yourself. Do you know the origins of the pipe band?
Yeah, well, it was literally, you know, Clondalkin was a village. It was in the countryside, really, back then. In 1937, the band was founded. And there was some pipers from the neighbouring village in Tala. I think it was Jimmy Carroll, possibly, Jim, if you could correct me if I'm wrong. And founder members included Tommy Tully, Terry's father, and Francie Boland, Shannon's grandfather, and a number of other people who, you know, still, you know, are still around, actually, Jack Tully and people like that. But it was really just a community band, just a village band, and there wasn't much money around then, and there was very little financial support. So, you know, they got a band off the ground, and you know, it's pretty much, you know, to this day we're still trying to maintain that kind of community spirit as best we can.
Yeah, and, I think you've achieved
the band
that.
It's highly kind of regarded and sought after, I guess, at a local level.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, a name that's been mentioned a few times that we've been talking about the history of the band, Shannon. You have quite a lot of family ties with the pipe band. So, Shannon Boland of the Boland, is it, you know, can you tell us about all of those family ties and your family history?
Yeah, like, well, my granddad was a member of the band, and we're all like from Clondalkin, so it does mean like a lot when we're all there in the band. But yeah, my granddad was a founding member, and then my uncle Eddie, he was in the band. He was a piper in the band. He died, so unfortunately I never got to meet him, but he was teaching my dad then how to play pipes. So then my dad was in the band, and then yeah, like then it was me, and then it was my cousin Eddie Boland is in the band as well. He's a piper. My dad taught him how to play. And Hannah Creighton, Steve Creighton, Glenn Creighton, like, yeah, we're all linked in anyways. But
there's loads of family ties, and this is what I'm finding with a lot of this Meet the Band series, is that a lot of families get associated with pipe bands, and then there's all of those links that connect people. So, Shannon, for yourself, it was kind of inevitable that you were going to be in the ranks of the band then. You had no choice, really.
Yeah, well, my brother was in it, so it wasn't. He was more into sports, but yeah, I started out in the developing band in St. Lawrence O'Toole. My dad was playing with them for a while, so I went up to practice, and I was just like, yeah, I want to do that. They wouldn't let me go anyways without learning.
I see. You have to put up a bit of a fight then to get away, is what you're saying, yeah. Great stuff. So, well, joining us also, I know we've been talking to a couple of owl hands. No offence, Tim or Jim. But we have one of your youngest members, actually, a piper called Alex Hughes. Alex, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
The best,
Good,
man. Now, tell us about your story with coming to Clondalkin and St. Joseph's in the first place. How did that happen?
Yeah, so how I got into playing the bagpipes, it was a bit random. My third class teacher in primary school was a piper. And the way to play tin whistle in school, he kind of put the tin whistlers onto bagpipes. So we went on to the practice chanters first, and we had a small band in school, and we used to go out to St. Patrick's Day parades around the town and small centres around us. So basically, in sixth class, as I was leaving primary school, he recommended that I join a proper pipe band to try and improve my skills and keep it going. So we looked around a few pipe bands, and there was the Curragh pipe band closest to us, but it wasn't a competing pipe band and it wasn't really active. Right. So we found St. Joseph's in Clondalkin, and I started in 2020, just before COVID. So I was in the academy band with Mags, and when I joined the band, I was told that I had the scale completely wrong, so I had to learn everything from scratch. So I pretty much started and from there, I guess I've just improved over the years, and now I'm playing in the Grade 2 band. So
nice. So you're going to be stepping out this year in Grade 2?
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh, he will be. He will be.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got the vote of confidence from the PM.
He's front row now.
Oh, even front row as well. Flip me. Hey, that's
he's
brilliant.
Worked hard. He's worked hard.
Fair play. Now, here, I'm starting from scratch again. Now, I'm going to guess here, but did you learn all the fingering for tin whistle and the scales and all of that?
Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing at this stage. I think I was playing keys and just whatever made the sounds, yeah.
Wow. And then you had to relearn again. And then from that to where you are now in 2025, stepping into the circle, are you excited for it? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what I've been practicing for so long.
Yeah, that's it too. Well, here, folks, I have to say, tell me about the trip to Madrid and St. Patrick's Day. How the heck did this come around, Tim?
We got an invitation or an inquiry to see if the band would be available, and we got the dates and some information, and people were chomping at the bit to go. So it all happened very, very quickly. Not everybody could make it because of work commitments and so on, but we were able to turn out, a decent sized band, and it was an amazing trip, an absolutely amazing trip, and it was nice to have something like that kind of pre-season as well to get everybody together, and we great fun, great music as well.
It seemed to be the best crack, to be honest. And ourselves in Rab Show, actually, we had a number of people who listened to our show and were on their holidays, and were not expecting to hear piping, and then suddenly they heard pipes down the end of the street, and they went running, and then sent us videos. Rab, who's this band? They're amazing. That's St. Joseph's. So people were finding you as they were on holidays. So
wow, yeah. The great thing for the likes of Alex and Shannon and so on was to hear the Galician bands and the Asturian bands. So we would have got exposure to that music in Brittany when we were younger, and I think it's great for younger players to see and realise that piping and bagpiping is a much wider phenomenon. It's not just what happens here, but you look to France, Spain, and further afield, and there's different types of pipes and different types of music, and it's amazing.
Oh, big time. Alex, what did you think of that, the Galician bands and stuff? Did you get a good listen to them?
Yeah, it was absolutely deadly, yeah. It's a completely different type of music. It's a lot happier, I guess.
It is though, isn't it? Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So even from a drumming point of view, Shannon, yourself, how did you think that about the Galician bands?
Yeah, they were good to see. It was a great experience, and to mix, and they were coming over and asking us, "Oh, how do you do this?" And what way do you play that? And we were asking, like, they were really good. Like, it was a good experience to see.
Oh, yeah, so you've been teaching them tenor flourishes and all sorts now.
Yeah. Well,
excellent stuff, yeah. So, Jim, I'm going to look back now, I suppose. Well, we're talking about the recent trip to Madrid and everything, but has there been any other big standout moments for the band in your tenure, in your time, that stands out?
Well, 1994, when the trip to France, when Fia Marsh, Tools and ourselves were there, I think the Terry had just took over the band from Lord of Mercy, his father died. But was, as a young person, see the dynamic walking between Richard and Terry at that early stage, even to be amongst them, and like they were starting out in their careers, they were probably in the what to say, we were in the arrivals hall and they were getting on the plane type of thing. They were. But that was a really stick out moment for me that really geared me personally, anyway. What this pipe band malarkey was about. Because you must realise we were a community band, and to be exposed to that, Alex and Shannon exposed, say, the Galician bands in Madrid, was amazing for me, anyway. And then after that, winning the All Ireland in Newcastle in '88 in grade 3 was that was the first All Ireland we won, and that was you'll always remember the first one. Nat Russell was judging that day, and a good way to remember. And we had a member of the band, Tremaine Murphy, that we, and he actually went on. Then there apparently was emigrated at the end of the year, I think, and he actually ended up playing with Vic Police.
Yes, yeah.
And then, things at the moment was like that, and then of course, winning the Worlds in 1990 was, it was you must realise in England often the band is really, really looked upon as the fabric of the community. Yeah. We still are, although we might have lads from different communities playing with us, but the locals hold the band in high esteem, and they get great support. And to bring back a world championship from Scotland in grade 2 in 1990 was unreal.
Yeah, that's it. I have to say, I remember the celebrations that day. I think nobody had a voice left by the end of it.
The nice thing about that as well, and Timmy will probably come in here and this as well, is that we actually went and played. Was it the Jubilee competition was on the following day?
Diamond Jubilee,
Jubilee, and we actually went there the following day. And I can tell you, there was not too much prep done or anything like that. I went and won that as well, which the band was just on, what would I say? It was an autopilot.
Yeah.
We were practicing 4 or 5 nights a week, and everyone knew what everyone was doing, and everyone bought into the program, if you weren't at practice, you'd be asked, why weren't you at practice? Well, I'm not entitled to one night, but that's where he was, Tim, wasn't it?
Well, look, we were younger and didn't have any commitments, and it was the stars aligned. Really, we were able to give that level of commitment, and it paid dividends at the time for us.
Mm-hmm. There you are, yeah. So from back then and then to where you are now, back in the heady heights of grade 2, and juggling it out in what we call the ridiculous grade. It is the ridiculous grade for a reason. There's so many talented bands in there, yourselves included. So are you looking forward to this incoming season then, Tim? Can you give us any kind of, sneak peeks of what you're going to bring to the circle this year?
Oh, look, we're definitely looking forward to it. We didn't have a great year last year. We had a lot of moments of self-doubt, and we asked some serious questions really of ourselves at the end of the year, and we only had ourselves to blame, for the poor performance, and so we knuckled down this year, and we've been practicing very hard since September, and we looked for that commitment from everybody, and some people weren't able to give that commitment and moved on, and some people came in. So we've a slightly different profile in the band this year. Definitely going a lot better, and I think a lot better prepared. We're actually playing our first local contest on Saturday in Donabate, the Leinster Championships. So we've only 2 days to go, and we're really looking forward to that. Practices have been good, and Band is going well. Our medley this year will be very different to what we did last year. We've introduced some interesting ideas, and we're pushing ourselves a little bit harder this year. So we're really looking forward to it.
Well, I have to say, I know you were saying that it was poor performance last year. I disagree. I've been a fan of you guys for the longest time. I've been really loving the tunes I've just been playing, especially post-pandemic as well. I don't know what you've done over the course of that lockdown and stuff. You must have been practicing like mad. You sounded amazing. So anyway, folks, I have to say, thank you for joining us here on the show and telling us more about St. Joseph's. And Tim, Jim, Alex and Shannon, looking forward to seeing you out in the grass this season.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right, cheerio.
Thank you.
And there you have it. Brilliant to catch up with the folks there at St. Joseph's. And if you haven't heard their performances yet, do yourself a favour. Go and have a look on the socials. And there's tons of great music to enjoy. Plus, of course, there's videos of them up there on the Big Rab Show YouTube channel. Lots of great music to enjoy there from the folks at St. Joseph's. Yeah. So there you go. That's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thank you, everyone, for downloading this week. And, of course, each and every week. And, don't forget to tell your mates about our wee show, about what we're doing over here, talking about what we know and love, hey? Every single week. There you go. Right, well, good luck, everyone, this weekend, of course, for tons of piping action all across, of course, in Moira and in Chicago and all around the globe, for that matter. So good luck. If you are out competing, don't forget to send us in your Rab Show selfies. Indeed, yeah. We will have team members on the ground at Moira and in Chicago, so if you do manage to spot us, then do say hello, as we mentioned earlier. Yeah. All right, that's it. We will see you all in next week's show as we get through all of the detail from what happened the weekend before and the weekends to come. Indeed. All right, folks, I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, all the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week. And a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show podcast. All the best.